Okay, some more about this brace that I'm putting in the floor of the oven. This was a 10-inch by 6 feet long strip of scrap steel for making the interior shell. I folded it back 3 inches here, and I folded it 2 inches there. I cut slots in it just like a divider in a soda pop box. And I think it's going to work really well. It's real rigid, and particularly once it's embedded in insulation, it will not move a lot at all. And I think it's going to be fine. Plus, it's going to make the minimal contact. It will give me support, but along these edges, the minimal contact will be made to support all the heavy stuff that may sit in the floor of this oven. Because without this, the oven floor will crush. And without this, I have to buy some sort of exotic post to support the oven out of some sort of exotic refractory material. And I think my limited knowledge of the way heat moves around will satisfy what I'm trying to do here. I'm not going to lose a lot of heat out of the bottom to begin with, and I'm going to lose the minimal amount and still have a real sturdy bottom that will last a long time. Okay, some more about this brace. This wing right here, because of the nature of the mechanics of the way these folds work, is the weak sister. Don't get all upset, girls. It's just a shop brace. So I'm going to have to put in this little guy right here. I'm going to pop rivet him right in there to stiffen this wing, because the other three are real stiff, just sitting here forced together. There is no mechanics on this. I haven't screwed it, fastened it, welded it, etc. So that's kind of an important thing about this particular structural member. Which brings me to this. This is a little simple. This is the simplest jig you could possibly build. It's just 2 2x6s, one screwed into the other, so that I have a good leg to clamp down onto the table and give this board real maximum grip. This is so handy for throwing these parts up on it and drilling holes in it. And it supports things, and you can let long parts hang to the floor off this thing. This looks like a real goofy block of wood, but when you know how to use jigs and build simple jigs to help you do things, it makes your work so much better and you're so much more productive. Here's my cross brace sitting on that jig I was just raving about. Because I'm going to drill 2 pop rivet holes here, 2 pop rivet holes in here. And there was no other way I could do it, but with this block of wood sitting here, you can drill in there and get full support, and your bit runs into wood, and you don't ruin your table, and it's just really amazing what a small little jig like that can do for you. Okay, I put 2 cans of primers on this, the zinc chromate and just a regular can of gray primer. And I put 2 cans of gloss black on it. It's all painted, it's all welded, it's all ground, it's all drilled. Well, it's not all drilled. There are a few small little 1/4 holes that will be drilled in this grid here, so that the red shell doesn't just slide off the frame. But not a lot of them, just enough to keep that shell from moving around. But there's my frame, and it's got 2 coats of black and 2 coats of primer. And the weather's going to be hot the next few days, so it should get nice and hard. I just have the patience to let it hang there and cure. Now now then, back to work on the inner shell tonight. I think I'm going to start putting this thing together. And I bought flat high temperature black today because this black that I am using has a shiny surface to it. It is not a true flat. And a true flat black is the color that you want to use. If there's any kind of gloss to it or semi-gloss, that's you may have black, but you're losing a lot when you do that. So I'm going to pull off the protective coating. I'm going to steel wool this industrial coating that's on this sheet metal, and then I'm going to spray paint it with a high temperature paint. Then I'm going to assemble the can. So that's what I'll be doing the next day or so, working on this interior can and getting it ready to install inside the outer shell. Here's the shine I was just speaking of. I took off the plastic coating that protects the finish, but you can see that's way too shiny. What you want is what Barrington called the perfect black body. Something that is so black that light cannot escape it. Okay, here's a perfect example of what I was just talking about with the black paint. That shiny thing that's shining right in the center is that black surface that my shell is made out of. That's the industrial coating, bouncing the fluorescent light right back at the camera. See how shiny that is? Now then, I've just painted this nose of the shell with that industrial oven paint, that black stuff, and you'll notice how light just does not come back off of it, and that's an important thing. We're trying to do that. For a lot of people that do solar, they know all this. I'm speaking to people that don't. Not all shades of black are the same. Some black is better than others. Daniels dreamed of a perfect black surface so that no sunlight that struck it would ever return from that surface. The efficiency would zoom. A lot of people are working on that very thing right now, but I can't buy it in a can at Lowe's and come down here and spray it on a piece of sheet metal. Okay, this is the plastic coating coming off the inside shell. You've heard me talk about this plastic coating. You can see how pretty the inside of this is now that I'm peeling it off.